Oh boy, that was a rough one. Welcome to Recher Reacts. Uh, Going live after the Buccaneers lost to the Atlanta Falcons. I still can't really wrap my head around what the hell just happened. Uh, Follow me on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I am everywhere that you want to be on social media. We will talk about this game at length. Oh my goodness. What the hell happened to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? They looked like they were cruising. They were headed to a 4-1 record on the season, and then reality set in. Shout out to my guy Tom Krasnicki, still holding it down on 95.3 WDAE and AM 620, as well as my guys Pat Donovan and Ronnie Lane on 98 Rock. They're doing their post game stuff. I just wanted to give them about an hour to do their thing before I hopped on here with you guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. I get that those are one of those games that it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. It's one thing to lose, right? You're gonna have your off days, just like that Denver Broncos game, right? You're just gonna have your off days where you can't really explain what the hell went wrong. That happens. Like that happens in sports, that happens in life. But a game like today, and I just realized this is the first time that we're doing a retro reacts with me with the glasses on today. Uh, that's something that this is a loss that stings. It stings. It doesn't feel good. And the Buccaneers are going to have to sit on this for more than just 7 days. They'll be back in action next Sunday against the New Orleans Saints. But until then, they're going to be thinking about how they let one get away. That would have been a pretty commanding lead in the division if they would have won that game tonight. But unfortunately for them, and unfortunately for Bucs Nation, that did not happen. So let's start. Fill in the blank. Blank is the reason why the Bucs lost to the Falcons. Fill it in. And here's the thing that people, I just, it's kind of weird when we're talking about this Bucs game. And feel free to comment there wherever you're watching, whether it's Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, wherever the hell you're watching. Just because you deem something a reason to why the Bucs lost doesn't mean you want to get rid of those players. Doesn't mean you want the coaches fired. Like you're allowed to have an opinion on why certain things were the reason why the Bucs lost. And there was a multitude of reasons. It wasn't just one thing. It doesn't have to be mutually exclusive where it's like, oh, it was this, but it wasn't this. I think a lot of things contributed to the fact that the Buccaneers lost this game. It wasn't just one thing. I'm going to give you 9 reasons why the Buccaneers lost this game. And number 1, they gave up 509 yards in the air to Kirk Cousins, a guy that has limited mobility to say the least. But you let him throw the ball 58 times. He completed 42 of those passes, and he threw for 509 yards. It is even hard to fathom how that happened to a Todd Bowles defense. We've watched this defense come up big the last couple of years, whether he was the head coach or the defensive coordinator. Hell, we saw it last week against Philadelphia Eagles, a couple of weeks ago in Detroit against the Lions. But you let Kirk Cousins put up 509 yards. Kyle Pitts had 0 catches last week, 7 for 88. They got him involved early and often in this game. Drake London looked like Julio Jones out there. 12 catches for a buck 54 and a touchdown. And one guy that I was telling you guys earlier today on Jay and Zach to watch out for, Darnell Mooney, 9 for 105 and 2 touchdowns. And then, oh yeah, Hodge, who comes in after London gets hurt in overtime, 45-yard touchdown, walk off, leave them on the field. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's go home. Not good enough. Not good enough at all. That is way, way too many yards to give up through the air. I know this is a bend but don't break defense, but that was putrid. Next, Todd Bowles did not make the necessary adjustments. Now, I think it's kind of comical that people are letting Todd Bowles off the hook and acting like that he had nothing to do with this loss. Just because you're holding Todd Bowles accountable for the team not playing uh, up to snuff doesn't mean you want to get rid of him. Doesn't mean you think he's a crappy coach. But if you're telling me that you're a head coach that prides himself on defense, and then your defense gives up 509 yards, and you're consistently playing off of these guys and giving up easy receptions, some of that blame does fall on Todd Bowles. Yes, certainly does. So miss me with that whole thing that he has no, that he doesn't take any kind of blame for this. Wrong. He does. He wears it just as much as the players wear it. Number three, the tackling was awful. You even saw it on one of the plays on Levante David, where he wasn't able to bring Bijan Robinson down. And Levante, I thought, played a really good game. But just the inability to get these guys to the ground, it's a huge reason why the Buccaneers lost. Right off the bat on that first drive, they had trouble bringing the Falcons players down. And it was a foreshadowing of things to come. Even though the Buccaneers had the lead for the majority of that game, it was kind of weird how early on in the game they could not wrap up. They didn't have that attack mentality, that gang tackling that we've seen when this Buccaneers defense is playing at their best. Number four, KJ Britt is a liability in pass coverage. And we talked about this on Jay and Zach, and Kirk Cousins picked him out right off the bat. And he said, 52, I'm going after you all night long. And that's exactly what he did. No Servassier Dennis certainly hurt tonight. But KJ Britt, for a guy that is a leader on this defense, he's shown a lot of holes in his game so far this season. And his inability to make plays in space and to cover, that is a big problem for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Number five, the Graham Barton holding penalty. The Buccaneers have the ball at the end of the game there, and he gets whistled for the holding penalty, and it just pushes them back to the point where they're out of field goal range, and he had a rough night. Graham Barton has done really well through the first 5 games this season. He's had some ups, he's had some downs, but there are certain plays out there where he just looks like a rookie. He's playing a very tough position. But there were times Thursday night where he looked the part. He looked like he looked like a rookie. Grady Jarrett showed why he's one of the best guys at that position and has been for the last decade or so. Graham Barton needs to improve. I'm not necessarily worried about it, but he had a rough night, and that holding call was a killer. Number 6, the missed face mask on that run by Bucky Irving, where Graham Barton was whistled for holding. Clear miss by the officials. And now when I say these and when I go through all 9 of these reasons why the Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost, they can all be true. And I think they all are. It's not all right, it's this one, but it's not this one. Like that was a big reason why the Buccaneers were not able to at least move the football, take some time off the clock, make the Falcons use a timeout. Like that was a big call in the game. And I just find it so weird that there's so many officials on the field and they miss such an obvious call that's like right in the middle of the field. There's so many guys out there. The broadcast picked it up right off the bat. For all the talk about, all right, Al Michaels doesn't do this or Kirk Herbstreit doesn't do this. I mean, they saw it right away. It's weird, man. It really gets you thinking. How do you not see that? Your eyes are on the ball. The majority of the people, you're looking at the ball and you see Bucky Irving's head twist. Like, my God, what do you think happened on that play? Wasn't the only reason, but certainly a reason why the Buccaneers lost this game. Also, the fumble by Bucky Irving, the inability of him to hold on to the football. And for all of those people that have been clamoring for Bucky Irving to be RB1, that's one of the reasons why you don't rush a rookie to the top of the depth chart. You saw his inexperience in this game. You saw it later on, and that kind of parlays into number 8 with Liam Cohen's inability to call plays up by a score with less than 2 minutes to go. And you look on that one play after Bucky fumbled, he's kind of looking around. He didn't know what to do. He was going to cut the ball back to the middle. And the guys were like, get down. Don't fumble the ball again. Inexperience from Bucky Irving as a running back, from Liam Cohen as a play caller. Like these are growing pains. These kind of things are going to happen. But those factor in to why the Buccaneers lose this game. All of these reasons, all 8 of them so far, all share in the blame. And then number 9, the injuries to me. Diaby in and out. Levante in and out. Baker got banged up on that sack. Jordan Whitehead leaving the game and not coming back. Those are part of the game. But I don't want to hear the excuse. I don't. The Atlanta Falcons Even though it's a reason the game, it's not. That's the difference, and this is what kind of pisses me off. It's a reason, not an excuse. You'll tell me Kalijah Cansey's not in the game, and Servatier Dennis is out, and Jordan Whitehead left, and Antoine Winfield Jr. is not there, and you're missing Jalen McMillan and Trey Palmer. That's fine. The Falcons didn't have a guy in the game yesterday. The Falcons didn't have a game. Excuse me. The Falcons didn't have a guy in the game on Thursday night who had 17 tackles last week against the New Orleans Saints. They were missing their starting center. They had guys out too. Nobody was making excuses for them. So why the hell do we think it's okay that the Buccaneers can use that as an excuse? Yeah, I mean, it's a reason, but there were way too many good players on that field for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for them to blow the game like that. You still had Vita Vea, you still had Levante David, you still had Zion McCollum. Logan Hall had 2 sacks. I mean, what are we talking about here? Stop making excuses. Part of the reason why they lost, yes, but the Buccaneers definitely had enough to win that game. And for people saying, oh, the offense needed to do better, okay, they ran out of steam a little bit. The play calling was iffy down the stretch. They scored 30 points. Let's not get that twisted. The Buccaneers did enough to win that game offensively. If you score 30 points in the National Football League, you should be able to win hands down. The Buccaneers came into this game giving up under 20 points. They gave up 36 to the Atlanta Falcons. The pass rush got home sometimes, not all the time. Joe Tryon-Shoyinka continues to underwhelm. I thought Logan Hall took a step forward, which was a good sight to see. I thought Vita Vea played pretty well. But outside of those guys, where was the pass rush coming from? Not much. And miss me with the whole Levante David should have dropped that interception on 4th and 15. That's not happening. You're not thinking like that. You're not thinking bat the ball down. It's not a Hail Mary situation. He's thinking, let me catch the ball. Let me try to get up the field, set up. If you have the ball in plus territory at the end of the game with the lead with less than 2 minutes left and you lose that game, I'm sorry, man. That's not on Levante David. That's on everybody else. I thought Chase McLaughlin came up with some big kicks. I thought Trenton Gill looked good punting the football. I thought he did a good job. I thought Zion McCollum came up with some big plays. Tyke Smith, he had some rookie moments, but Tyke Smith knocking that ball away from Ray McLeod, keeping the ball or keeping him in bounds, quote unquote, ball went out of bounds. But that kept the clock moving. That could have been a huge play in the game. I like what I saw from Tyke Smith today. I thought he showed out, and I thought he showed the reason why he was a guy that the Buccaneers had high hopes, uh, you know, for when he got drafted out of Georgia. Let's go to some of the questions here. Playing zone that much was brutal. Ryan Ball, I don't disagree with it. Play calling on offense in the second half was awful. Yeah, I mean, these are the kind of things that are going to happen when you have a rookie play caller in Liam Cohen. Some of the things are going to be fantastic. And you look at some of those first plays and you look at the touchdowns to Mike Evans. Beautiful, beautiful play calling. But there's going to be situations that are going to arise, that his inexperience is going to show. And today was one of those things. Today was one of those times. He didn't really know in the second half what to do. Continue to try to run the football, to try to milk the clock a little bit, use the short passing game. What do you do when it's less than 2 outs and you know that the other team has to use those timeouts? What plays to call in those situations so that you're moving the football, but also making sure they use the TOs? It's a learning experience. It's part of the reason why they lost. I don't think Liam Cohen's a bad play caller. I don't think they should fire him. I don't think they should fire Todd Bowles for what happened. But this was an ugly loss. No mistake about it. And it's got to, you got to get better. This is a tough part of your schedule coming up. You got the Saints, you got the Falcons again, and then kind of a murderer's row, but you kind of knew that was going to happen. A lot of people thought the Buccaneers were going to be 3-2 after 5 games, myself included. I thought they were going to lose this game, and I know I said today I thought they'd win, but before the season, I thought they'd lose to Detroit, and I thought they'd lose to the Falcons, and they would be 3-2 going into the 6th game against the New Orleans Saints. So I'm not too surprised. Not too surprised at all. That's kind of the nature of the beast when it comes to the National Football League, right? Sucks. It sucks, man. It's something that you wish would be a little bit different. and you wish that the Buccaneers would find a way to win. Good teams find a way to win, and that's what you give credit to a team like the Atlanta Falcons. Like all of these games that they've won, they were able to find a way to win at the end. Whether it was the first win that they picked up this year against the Philadelphia Eagles, they're 0-2. They had their backs against the wall. Were they 0-1 or 0-2? I forget, whatever the record was. Backs against, I think, whatever. Now I got to look it up because it's pissing me off. I know I watched the whole freaking game. Yeah, second game. They were 0-1 going into that Eagles game. 22-21. If Saquon Barkley catches that ball at the end of the game, boom, they're 0-2. Saints 26-24. Younghoe Koo makes an unbelievable field goal. If he misses that, or if New Orleans takes care of business, they might be 0-4 going in this game with the Buccaneers. But I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to badmouth or besmirch the Atlanta Falcons for finding a way to win. That's what teams do, and they're 3-2. They're feeling themselves right now. They have not played their best football, and now they're tied for first place in the division. They should feel happy tonight because they came up big and they rose to the occasion. And the guy that they spent $180 million on, Kirk Cousins, was the guy tonight. He was fantastic. You can't hate. And even though his footwork was sloppy, he was throwing flat-footed. The Buccaneers defense, the lack of the adjustments from Todd Bowles, there was a lot that went into this. But don't sit here and act like it was one thing. It wasn't just one thing. It was a lot. It was a lot of things. And it was ugly. All right. Make sure you follow me on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all that jazz. Just popping on for like 20 minutes today because I want to get some sleep. And of course, I want to save some of the best stuff for Jay and Zach starting tomorrow at noon on 95.3 WDA and AM 620. Our coverage starts at 6 a.m. tomorrow with Aaron Jacobson live and local on WDAE. Whew. But there was a good thing that happened tonight, and that was on the baseball field, the only baseball game left, the only wild card matchup left. And it was the New York Mets and the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Mets find a way, after being down 2-0 in the top of the ninth inning, to score 4 runs to help them to a 4-2 victory, to advance to the NLDS to take on one of their biggest rivals, the Philadelphia Phillies. But sometimes in sports, it's kind of bigger than the game. And that's what happened today. And I was telling Tom Krasnicki and Aaron Jacobson, 2 lifelong Mets fans, that the Mets were going to find a way to win today because of one reason. And it was because today was my grandma's 87th birthday. A Mets fan from day one. She was a Mets fan before they ever took the field back in 1962. World Series champion in 69 and 86. She's been there, the ups and downs, from Bud Harrelson to Darryl Strawberry to Pete Alonso, who ended up hitting a 3-run home run in the ninth inning to give the Mets the lead that they would never relinquish. And how ironic that Pete Alonso hits the eventual game-winning home run, the kid from Tampa, Florida, and the guy that is my grandma's favorite player, the polar bear. He has struggled in the postseason. And everybody in New York and all those Mets fans, they just wanted Pete to come up big one time for this team. And that's exactly what he did. Williams has an incredible changeup, probably the best changeup in all of baseball. And Pete, with an incredible approach at the plate, takes that changeup, lets the ball get deep, and smokes it out to right field. And he knew it right off the bat. But sports are funny, man. The Mets look like they're dead to rights. They're about to head home. But just something in the back of my mind told me that there's some kind of divine intervention coming. Like, great things happen to great people. And there's nobody better than my grandma. And the fact that the Mets were able to win that game on her birthday, I just don't think it was an accident. I mean, think about it, guys. I was saying it all day, and Tom didn't believe me. Aaron didn't believe me. But I told them Grandma was not going to let this happen. Not on her 87th birthday. And that's exactly what happened. Ninth inning, her favorite player from Tampa He goes, Apo Taco soft shell. Yeah. The best birthday present you can give my grandma. What a crazy gift. The best present you could give my grandma for her 87th birthday, a win for the New York Mets. Thank you, Pete Alonso. Thank you, New York Mets. Uh, man, and we're just getting started for playoff baseball. It is going to be an insane ride to the finish line. All right, that's going to wrap it up for me here on Retro Reacts. It's a late one. I still got a shower. I haven't even I'm still wearing the same shirt. Shout out to our guys at For the Bay. I haven't really sat down at all today. It's pretty wild. I hung out with my guy Ian Beckles, who called the home run by Pete Alonso in the sixth inning. He said Pete Alonso was going to come up big. So shout out to my guy Beck. I was over there watching the Bucs game, but he said in the sixth inning that Pete Alonso was going to hit a home run to help the Mets win. So we'll give my guy Ian Beckle some credit too. It's just again, sometimes you just can't explain the crazy ass things that happen in sports. All right, follow me on all social media platforms: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I am everywhere. And make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube because every like and subscription counts. We're doing a lot more things here on Retro Reacts. The J Retro podcast is coming soon. I'm going to have my own little link on the 953wdae.com page pretty soon. So all the stuff, if you missed it, is going to be up there. So things, they are moving and shaking for 2024, and 2025 is going to be a huge year for me here in the Tampa Bay area. I appreciate you all. I know you're pissed about that Buccaneers loss. Go get some rest. And again, check me out tomorrow at noon on Jay and Zach. I'm out of here, buddy. We'll see you soon next time right here on Retro Reacts. Peace out. I'm tired.